Hey there folks, Markson and Studios here back once again in the flesh here with another vinyl update video. As I mentioned in my previous video, this will have a special theme, which is video game soundtracks. It's not a thing I usually buy. In fact, prior to this I think I have two soundtracks from video games on record, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I got 5 records to show you. 2 of them are from one company, or whatever you want to call it, record pressing company, and the other one is from a different one. Yeah, I mean, video games are cool, soundtracks are pretty cool as well, and releasing more and more now on vinyl, which is the case with everything nowadays. But yeah, I kind of went on a small buying spree and bought a couple of video game soundtracks, so yeah, let's get started. The first record I'm about to show you is a cyberpunk game, and that is Ruiner. This is the original soundtrack from Laced Records. Here's the back and the front, obviously. So this is a kind of like a top-down cyberpunk action game from Devolver Digital, which made like Hotline Miami and a bunch of other awesome games. Comes with a sweet gatefold. As I mentioned previously, this is a Laced Records release, and they have some great pressings. This is the first thing I bought from them, and damn, this is really fucking cool. I love the artwork. I'm a big fan of cyberpunk kind of art style and stuff, so this is really fucking cool. And this comes on 2 records with inner printed sleeves. You're being played. And this one's a regular black vinyl. And the other one is colored, which is pretty nice. Here's the second one, also inner print sleeve. We were never friends. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Laced Records are really cool with their releases. Really nice presses. And this comes with a semi-translucent red vinyl. Really dig the color in this one. Really nice. There's a mixture of tracks on here from different artists. As was the case with a game like Hotline Miami, if you're familiar with that. There's Zemilska, Sidewalks and Skeletons, and Susumi Hirasawa that make up the majority of tracks here, as well as Antigon and Francois X, Memotone, a couple other people I've never heard of, but nevertheless, it's really cool electronic music. It's very kind of cyberpunky feel. If you've seen the latest Blade Runner movie, the soundtrack kind of reminded me slightly of that. Really cool, interesting take on electronic music. Not so much synthwave, but there's a little bit of synthwave in here as well. But it's a kind of a more of an ambient take on it, which is really cool. So if you haven't heard the soundtrack or play this game, I definitely recommend checking it out. This is Ruiner. And the next record I'm about to show you is also from Laced Records, and this just arrived. I pre-ordered this a couple months back. Me, like most of my friends, pre-ordered this. Awesome game, awesome fucking soundtrack. Really dig this. You're probably familiar with this, even though you don't play video games. This is Doom from 2016, I believe. 17, I think it's 16. This is the soundtrack from Mick Gordon. Which made a really cool kick-ass soundtrack. If you're not familiar with Doom, I mean, it's a first-person shooter, one of the more first-person shooters, the first first-person shooters, along with Castle Wolfenstein. This is the latest version of it, which was fucking awesome. I love Doom, great game. And they released a special version of this as well as a regular version. I bought the regular version. One of my friends ordered this special version, which I believe comes in a gatefold with like a bunch of extra stuff and shizzle. It's just a regular non-gatefold edition. but it does come with inner print sleeves and colored vinyl. I believe this is where you start out the game, if not mistaken, right into the action. And this comes on a really nice, semi-translucent red vinyl, just as Ruiner did. I think it's the same color. This sounds great. If you haven't heard the soundtrack, it's a mix of it's a mix of like electronic music with like some gent influences as well as some kind of nu metal-ish influences, but don't let that put you off. It did remind me a little bit of the original Quake soundtrack, which was done by Trent Reznor. It's a really well done soundtrack. It's just a mixture of different kind of genres. There's also red vinyl, and I really dig it. Definitely a mix of like electronic music, industrial music, with some ambient stuff, some noise stuff, along with like metal shit, like Meshuggah, gent shit, and a little bit of a nu metal, Slipknot influences as well, that I heard anyway. But yeah, really dig it. It's a really cool, action-fueled, pump you up to kill some demons and shit, blow their faces off. Great game, great soundtrack. Check out Doom. Fucking awesome. And from Slaying Demons and Cyberpunk Worlds, we're going to a bit more of a chill theme. All three of these records are made by the same developer, or the same composer, and all three games are made by the same developer, which is Supergiant Games. And this is their first game released back in, 2013, 14 maybe? I don't really remember. But nonetheless, this is Bastion, with the soundtrack from Darren Korb, along with Ashley Barrett on vocals. All three of these are really nicely pressed, very thick jacket, definitely a really great pressing, definitely put a lot of effort into this. And this is the first game I played, and the soundtrack definitely stood out to me as really interesting, because this was the first soundtrack I kind of like actually listened to on my own free time, which usually never did. And nothing special too much about the vinyl itself, just regular black. This also came in a red version, if I'm not mistaken. But that was sold out when I was purchasing this, can't speak. What stood out to me the first time I heard this was the fact that there's some actual songs on here with, as I mentioned earlier, Ashley Barrett on vocals. Those songs were Build That Wall, Mother I'm Here, The Pantheon, as well as Setting Sail, Coming Home. And the game itself is it's a top-down kind of action game, and it's a world that's been kind of destroyed and floating in various stages, and you have to just go around and discover different people, survivors, and try to make your way after the apocalypse, so to speak. The graphics are amazing, and pretty much that's the case with all their games. Graphically and aesthetically, very, very pleasing, very colorful, very awesome world building themes. And the soundtrack definitely stood out to me, and I really enjoyed both the actual songs on here as well as the regular background action music, or whatever you want to call it. Just electronic music fused with some Western themed elements, kind of country-esque, with some acoustic steel string guitars, and very, very nice. It's relaxing and cool to listen to without having to play the game whatsoever. Just a great soundtrack by Darren Korb. Check out Bastion.
I dig my hole, you build a wall. I dig my hole,
the second game that was released by Supergiant Games was Transistor, hot after first game. This came out, this says 2016, I don't know if this is the case for the game, or the soundtrack as well, but let's say 2016. This was a bit different in terms of style, as well as gameplay. It was a bit more focused on the strategic elements. You have like different abilities, you have to like map them out. It's kind of slightly turn-based, semi-turn-based. A very cool concept, completely new world, completely new characters, and a completely new amazing soundtrack. Here's the back. This I couldn't find at the website because it was sold out, but I managed to score this off eBay. Cost me a little bit more, but it was fucking worth it. Once again, fantastic pressing, really thick jacket, just phenomenal. Really great gatefold pressing here. The art style kind of reminds me of Gustav Klimt. Album art by Gen Z, which makes all their art. And once again, both the soundtrack and the artwork on these games are just phenomenal. Really, really great. And in terms of the records themselves, they come on this translucent, kind of multicolored vinyl. I think they did 2 pressings of this color, as well as a regular pressing of black vinyl. Hard to get. I'm not sure if this is. I think they said we're going to repress this. I'm not sure if they've done that as of now, but I had to score this off of eBay, which cost me a little bit more, but I'm just happy nonetheless to have this on vinyl. It's been in my wish list for quite a while, and this is a bit more future themed compared to Bastion, which is represented in the soundtrack, obviously. I'm not sure I like this as much as Bastion, but nonetheless, it's a great soundtrack. Definitely urge you to check this out. And the same case goes here. There's both regular songs with vocals on here, as well as just background soundtrack music. Check out Transistor. And the final record of the day is the latest game from Supergiant Games, which is Pyre. And this, along with Bastion, I got after web store. Again, great fucking pressing. I mean, they definitely put a large amount of effort into these. And these comes on 3 records. And Pyre is a bit different. It's not a kind of action game at all. It's weirdly enough a mix of a graphic novel or digital novel along with a sports game. It's a kind of like a future version of basketball, kind of a fantasy aspect to it, and you have like different characters you get to know and advance and stuff. Very, very interesting, very, very unique concept, and once again, fantastic artwork, fantastic soundtrack. And this comes in a trifold version. And once again, phenomenal pressing. Hopefully you can see all this. Great pressing. And the even more cool thing about this is it comes on 3 different colors. Kind of reminds me of the Hotline Miami soundtrack, which also came in 3 different colors. And the first one is this translucent purple, which is really nice looking. The soundtrack itself kind of reminds me a bit more of Bastion than it does of Transistor. I guess it's a kind of a mix. There's definitely quite a lot of different elements in this soundtrack compared to the first 2. The first 2 were kind of more heavily themed around one concept, while this one had a different. There's more like rock theme songs. There's a kind of more chill songs, acoustic stuff. There's more electronic music as well. And the second record comes in this translucent orange, kind of a goldish color. Really nice. Really happy that I was able to score this pressing. Definitely splurged some monies on this, but yeah, sometimes you have to do that, and something just fell out. That's typical. Anywho, in this last third, this comes on this translucent blue vinyl, which really looks quite nice. Compared to the previous two soundtracks I just showed, this is quite light. It still sounds really good, but yeah, very much light. Bastion definitely comes with 180 gram. Transistor was not as heavy, but this is very light. It does sound very good though, so I'm not complaining. And yeah, once again, phenomenal soundtrack. I think Darren Korb actually just released a single, which it does not have to do with a game, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, if you're into video games, I definitely urge you to check out everything Supergiant has done. Really cool stuff. Those are all the records I had to show for you today. Next time around, should be back to regular shit. Some metal, some garage rock, some psychedelic stuff. Probably won't be buying any video game soundtracks for a while now. But yeah, hopefully you're having a good summer. It's still very hot and damp. I'm going to party after this, but yeah, until next time, have a good one.